Wonderful. And I just want to mention, and I hope I'm not stealing your thunder. For those watching, you're actually sitting in Ryan's room, just as it
Yeah.
was, talking to him through the gaming system that you and he had built, which I just
Yeah.
think is incredible. But I want to kind of talk about Ryan now, Jonathan, and Ryan's arrival must have really changed everything. As I'm sure families that have gone through having children and different challenges and stuff can appreciate. But can you share about his diagnosis and how it affected your vision of the perfect life and the way your family was able to adapt to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, one thing that I didn't mention in our last conversation is that I'm adopted.
Mm.
So I don't know my biological history. And so when my wife and I were a newly married couple, again, 33 years ago, and we decided to start our family planning, we kind of went into that in the unknown. And our first son, when we were pregnant with our first son, Ethan, who's now 27 years old, he actually had, during one of the scans during Ethan's birth or pregnancy, when Holly was pregnant with him, is he had a shadow on the heart and a extra fluid in the liver, and that combination meant that he had a 1 in 200 chance of Down syndrome. So we were really our attention was raised. We were very scared for Ethan's diagnosis. We ended up having an amniocentesis that ended up proving that he was going to be fine. We had the birth. Life was good. So jump ahead 2.5 years later when we decided to continue our family. At this point, our Arizona family was living in London, England. It was a 3-year job assignment for the company that I was working for at that time. We didn't give Ryan's birth a second thought. We thought we were already through the stress and the strain of a challenging child. And so Ryan's birth was perfect. He was a very calm baby. He had a perfect APGAR score, 10 fingers, 10 toes, beautiful baby. And so we thought, great, life is going to resume. Well, then 8 months into his life, I think my wife really had inclinations that something just wasn't right. But my parents had traveled from Phoenix to London to visit us for the holidays. My mom held Ryan, which she hadn't done in a long time then, and she immediately teared up, looked at my wife, and said, "I'm so sorry." And that was the confirmation for my wife that her feelings were probably true. And that was then put us on a path to specialists. And like anybody, Ryan's diagnosis of spinal muscular atrophy is a rare disease. We had never heard of that disease. We had no idea what that was about. We were not expecting that at all. And honestly, we're 11 hours away from the closest family member, all back in Arizona.
Right.
So Ryan's diagnosis that put us on a path to specialists. Ultimately, very quickly, he had a muscle biopsy that confirmed that he did have spinal muscular atrophy. And just the devastating news at that time was no treatments, no cures, nothing you can do. And I'm a business person, and I'm used to tackling big challenges. I'm used to having a vision. I'm used to project managing. I'm used to kind of let's fix things, let's do things, let's grow the world. And so it was just really hard for me to personally understand when there's nothing we could do.
Right.
Yeah, it just was devastating news.